I am currently working as a game developer in probability gaming, and my mentor's name is Hema Shivarama Rai. He is the senior game developer in the company. These are the topics that I'll be covering in the PowerPoint. About the company, Probability Gaming is a company that started even like a decade ago, and it's a truly software company, and it's slowly gaining its foothold in the market. It has become the industry's leading uh, independent casino games provider for land-based, online, real money, social, and skill-based games. They have brought together innovation, technology, creativity, and augmented it to a large scale. My role in this company is of a game developer. My responsibilities include implementing certain functionalities in the game as required by the client, testing and fixing the bugs in games which have almost completed, working out details of a future game to be created in Unity game engine, and working on Unity 3D games for even more complex games which can't be done on Pixie.js. My project, it's a bubble shooting game, reimagined classic arcade games for the casino slot floor. Here you have different types of bubbles with different values, and also we have various power-ups which will help the user compete in the game. The player will also have to worry about a falling wall that will fall down every n number of shots depending on the difficulty that the user has set. Once the bubble touches the yellow line which is below, the game will end for the user, and all the money that he has earned will be credited to his account. My role in the project, my responsibility in this project is mainly of the full front end and the logic of the game. In general, the Unity part of the game. This includes adjusting the assets that are given by the design team onto the game according to client requirements. Second is like integrating the company's prestigious RGS and databases with the game so that it works seamlessly when played with real money, and also is adhering to the company's RGS. Third is structuring the game according to the game math provided by the game mathematicians in the company. The game math helps set a RTP to the project which is set by the client. The fourth is the general games and functionalities of a Unity game, like the game physics, game logic, player controls, animations, UI, and other parts of Unity. There are many projects that are simultaneously going in the background. I also have to work my part in those projects. Those are games that are created in Pixie.js, and mainly my role includes implementing certain functionalities in games that are in development, like recovery state, which in case of internet connection loss or refresh, the game still stays in the state that you last played it in. Implementing sound effects, implementing music, and also a working setting pop-up that integrates with these sound effects and music. The second is testing and finding bugs in games that are in final stages of development, and if possible, fixing those bugs before they are sent to the client. Third is preparing documentation regarding Unity and the games, which will be helpful for the reference of the team in the future, and also a GDD, a game design document, to keep track of the changes and targets of the current project we are working on. Now on to the project timeline. The project timeline is mainly divided into 4 parts: mock game, backend integration, code development, and testing and bug fix. Mock game, that stage was from October to mid-November. The backend integration was the remaining part of November. Now the code development will start from December and will be completed around January, mid-January end. And after everything is developed, the last final month of February will be given to testing and finding bugs, so before sending it to the client. Detailed explanation. The mock demo game. We need to demonstrate a mock game to our clients before they give us the contract for the project. That mock game has not the real assets but placeholder assets, sounds, and animation. And mainly the important part in the mock game is the working logic of the game that has to be thought of and shown to the client. The next part, the backend integration. As this game is played on real money, backend integration is very important in the game. as databases cannot be easily manipulated and all the money and the balances are stored in the database. Also, the game will have maths element. Those all need to be integrated well enough so that game works seamlessly. The next is the code development. After like few meetings with the client, the client will send certain requirements and ideas for the game, which will have to be worked on along with integrating the assets, sound and animation created by the design team, along with the game math that will be soon worked on and sent to us during the same time. Fixing the bugs is an important part, as the client should have a game that doesn't break while playing. Hence, a few rounds of extensive testing will be done by me and my team members, and a list of bugs will be created. Time will be given to solving major bugs so that the game doesn't cause any major loss to the client. The tech stack that I will mainly be using in this project are Unity 3D, MySQL Workbench and PHP. Unity 3D is the main game engine in which I'll be creating the game. The front end and the logic. It's a very beautiful editor in which I can easily place assets, change its value, and also integrate code which is done on C# to work out the game. The second is SQL Workbench. This is used to view, edit, and store data in company's database. The third is PHP. For the game to interact with the database, the front end will send a data to a PHP file, which will then work on the logic and send data back to the Unity game. This is a very important part, as these are the two games snapshots. The left side is a mock demo game which I created in like a month, and the second is a photo of a CGI created game that is our target. The left side you can see the game has working logic and has placeholder assets with a working balanced database. The second is a targeted game. This is a screenshot from a video of a CGI created game, which will be the target of the designers and the developers involved in this game. This video had the necessary screen layout, working and animations that will help us to guide our projects towards the right direction. Job has been very helpful, as I always wanted to be a game developer. I have had many learnings in this job. The first, I never thought that a game can be made in JavaScript, but has this company made games in Pixie.js before jumping into Unity, worked on implementing functionalities and solving bugs in Pixie.js, because of which I have learned many things about JavaScript. The second is teamwork and source control. As this is my first job in an in-office environment, I learned a lot about teamwork and collaboration, which is required in even simplest of projects, as a certain team members are good in implementing certain functionalities, and this collaboration also requires great software, and hence I used GitLab for Git-based collaboration of software version control, Jira to keep a list of tasks that I need to do and the tasks that I have completed, and Microsoft Teams to I also learned problem solving. I have learned about solving problems that arise while development, like a certain logic might not work in the game, so you have to think about a secondary logic or an alternative solution, and also need to list out how it's feasible and is this the best option. The last is working on Unity backend and WebGL versions. Like before, I had created personal projects which are only for me, and I hardly created a build. I never worked on WebGL build that also works with like any link that can be given to a person to play the game. Those all things I learned in this job. I also learned how to integrate the front end of Unity with the databases and PHP scripts in your PC. This also made me learn concepts like Unity Web Request, which is helpful in sending data and receiving data. I also learned about JSON.deserialize, which encode the JSON data that is decoded from the PHP file. This decode and encode is useful for like preventing hackers from hacking the game data and manipulating the real money data.